Hey everybody, KoBaC here with a new Lorcana video. So all 204 cards for Reign of Jafar for Lorcana have been revealed. I want to do a deep dive into each and every single card that is, 1 through 204. We're going to be doing slides so you can see each card up close. And I figured that what you're going to be doing is probably listening while you're doing something else because it's going to be a longer video. So I'm going to read the stats for every card. Not taking too long, just kind of moving through things, at a good pace. And then when we run into a card that I think is better or something that I think might be useful in the current meta, some of the decks that are being currently used, I'll stop and try to add some commentary to that. I know that sometimes when new sets come out, it's, there's a lot of, oh man, this card's going to be great. It's going to be cracked. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be so good. And then we end up finding out, it's a little slower than what we thought, or it's a little more gimmicky, or it needs more setup. Or maybe there's just a good counter in a different color combination that just defeats it before it's really useful. That's always a possibility. With Reign of Jafar, this is set 8 of Lorcana. All 8 sets are currently usable together. So set 9 is when the rotations begin. So at that point, things are going to get crazy in terms of what is useful in terms of decks. So right now, the current meta will very likely carry over. So you're still going to see, Emerald Steel, Ruby Amethyst, Ruby Sapphire, Amber Steel, Emerald Amethyst, all the colors that we've kind of gotten used to being in good combos are probably still going to be likely just accelerated or, accentuated through the rest of this. So let's go ahead and get into this. So as I said, I haven't seen a bunch of these, so it'll be cool kind of going through this together. So the very first card for Amber is Louis. He is a 3-cost inkable, 2/3 quest for 2. His ability is while this character is being challenged, the challenging character gets -1 strength. Not awful, not phenomenal, probably not going to see a lot of use, especially like in Amber Steel or something, but there might be someone who can put this together and it would be a good card. Next is Dewey, 4-cost inkable. He is a 4/4 who quests for 1, so he's just vanilla, but he's got a decently strong stat profile. Being 4 cost is a little bit on the higher side for a 4/4, but maybe if you're running all of the brothers together, it works. Huey, he is a 2 not inkable, uninkable, 2/3 quest for 1, with his ability being whenever this character quests, you may pay 1 less for the next character you play this turn. I could see him being useful, especially because he kind of has Doc's ability from set 3? Except in this case, he is uninkable, but he costs 2. So him being a 2/3 already is a decent stat profile. Questing for 1, whatever. But when he can quest and help you bring in something, so say you play him on 2, he's going to quest on turn 3, you ink, you're able to play a 4-cost character already on turn 3. So that could be pretty crazy. I could see him being useful, especially out of the 3. Next is a 4 inkable. This is the first legendary that we've run into yet. It's Goofy. He is a 3 strength, 4 willpower, quest for 2, so 3/4/2. At the end of your turn, you may remove up to 1 damage from each of your other characters, so not him. Ready each character you removed damage from this way. So it's at the end of your turn. He can heal something for 1 damage, other character. So kind of similar to Simba, the shift Simba for Amber, where at the end of your turn you can ready everybody. In this case, he's also healing. He has to heal in order to ready them. I think this card could be kind of useful, but at the same time too, decks like Amber Steel, whether you're doing like the Amber Steel kind of aggro or Amber Steel like Steel Song, I don't really see this being super crazy good because he does cost 4. He doesn't heal when he enters like Rapunzel does from the first chapter. Not a bad card, but it will probably be a card that is rewarded for going up against certain colors like steel. But because, if you're playing against like Ruby, a lot of their stuff does big damage. It's destroying the character that's, being hit, or they're trading at the very least. So Goofy then can't really heal. So not a bad card, not necessarily a crazy good card overall. Next up is Antonio Madrigal. He is a 4 inkable, 2/2 quest for 2. His ability, and he's also a dual color with Amethyst. Once during your turn, whenever one of your characters sings a song, you may search your deck for a character card with cost 3 or less and reveal that card to all players. Put that card into your hand and shuffle your deck. This is pretty gross. It could be, right? He does cost 4, so that's not cheap. He is inkable, so if you don't really need him or you get him too early, you could ink him. With his ability, whenever one of your characters sings a song, so it counts him as well, you can search for a 3 cost or less. That's pretty good. That could be pretty nuts, especially in the right set of circumstances. I can definitely see Amber Amethyst, when before they were extremely hyper aggro, they would just dump their hand, try to just race to the win. And that strategy didn't win against a lot of decks. It won sometimes, but not against everything. I could see Amber Amethyst starting to slow down a little bit, take a little bit of time to set up, still being aggro, but taking more time to get to the finish line so that they're able to kind of stay in the race and still have cards coming in and still doing other things. So if you could sing something like "This Is My Family," right? You get 1 lore and you're drawing a card. And in this case, I'm also then looking into my deck to find something else that I really have wanted. With it being a 3 cost or less, I mean, that's even counting Fox if you're running Fox in this sort of deck. That's pretty good. So that could also be the make or break between certain situations. So this is a pretty strong card. Will it be useful for Amber Amethyst? Don't know, but I do think that this is a good card. Next, we have Minnie Mouse, which is an Amber Ruby. She is a 4-cost inkable, 0 strength, 8 willpower. She does have, she quests for 1. She has bodyguard, so even though she's a 0, she's not doing damage in trade, she is 8 health, which is crazy. Her ability, True Valor, is this character gets +1 power for each 1 damage on her. So she starts at 0, and then as she's taking damage, she's getting stronger and stronger. So that is not bad. It would be bad for someone to be able to just finish her off quickly. Yes, there's ways with Ruby Brawl, the small Sisu, right? You can just delete her. But as she's getting hit, protecting your other stuff, now she's getting stronger. So now they have to hit her with weak things at first to counter her, so that they're putting the damage, but she's not going to be trading big damage back. If I hit her with, say, the first chapter Maui doing 6 damage, if I go to finish her off with anybody else, now they're taking 6 and I'm trading. There might be situations where that's good. Maybe not. She's not a bad card. Her being Amber Ruby specifically is interesting. Maybe they tested her and just felt that she was just better in that situation. She wasn't as maybe broken. We'll see. I think that this is a good card, but I think putting her with the limitation of Amber Ruby is going to prevent her from seeing a lot of use. Next, we have Ludwig von Drake. He is a Amber Sapphire, 2-cost uninkable, 1/1/1. He has 2 abilities. When you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. So it has bare necessities built in. The other ability is when this character is banished, you may put this card into your inkwell face down and exert it. If this wasn't an Amber Sapphire card, it would be incredibly broken. I think them putting it specifically in Amber Sapphire prevents it from seeing a lot of use. Maybe. I will say that the puppy decks, I know that those were already kind of scary last set. They didn't really work, but you could see that there was some danger there, and with them getting some extra gas in this set, it might actually be. So them having this card, I think if you run into puppies, which is Amber Sapphire, you're going to see this card. So I think it is good. It's probably good for everybody else that it is limited to Amber Sapphire. Otherwise, this is just nuts. Next, we have Charlotte LaBeouf. She is a 1 inkable 1/3/1, no other stats, so she's just like Olaf, Minnie Mouse from the first chapter, right? A lot of these characters have just a 1/1 or a 1/3/1. Tiana is up next. She is Amber, 4 uninkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, quest for 1. She is Singer 6, which is nice. Whenever you play a song, each opposing character gets -1 power until the start, or strength until the start of your next turn. That is pretty good. It's not nuts. She's not as dangerous as Naveen, like Prince Naveen just dropping her out of the hand and immediately can sing this big song, but her being able to get set up and then do Singer 6. The downside is she's brawlable, right? And she's not inkable. So while she is a good card, I don't think she's a great card because of her being uninkable in Amber hurts, right? Because we've got choices like Ariel that helps us look for cards. We've got Naveen, we just drop him, he sings a card. We got other characters that sing big, but they're inkable. So her not being inkable and still being brawlable is just probably she's not going to see a tremendous amount of use overall. Next up is Mirabelle Madrigal. She is a 1 inkable 0/2/1. When you play this character, you may reveal a song card in your hand to gain 1 lore. That's pretty crazy, right? Will she see a lot of use in decks like Steel Song? Maybe not. Will you see her in a Amber Amethyst Madrigal deck? That's possible. I don't think that deck, as of right now, where we are with looking through these previews, I don't think that deck is super crazy. It does have some strength, especially if you're in a more casual setting. She could see more use in that sort of situation. But if in terms of 1-drops for like Steel Song, it's always going to be better to play, Little Cindy. If you're doing Robin or the Queen line, it's better to drop one of those, right? Or maybe Daisy, right, on Steel Song. So she wouldn't be bad to have in your hand for later. The upside to her for Steel Song players is that often when you get towards the end of the game, if you're not seeing Pete and you're not super in control of things, like maybe you're against Ruby Amethyst or Sapphire Amethyst, right? Or maybe another Steel deck who's using Pete to kind of shut down your ability to sing songs, and you need just to quest a little bit more to be able to end the game. As of right now, well, before set 8, there wasn't really anything that Steel Song could do. There was nothing that they don't have their own GOAT, right? I just play GOAT, I get a lore, the game's over. Having her maybe as a 1 or a 2 might be a viable strategy because often they have at least 1 song in their hand. So being able to just drop her, gain a lore, and just end the game, or quest with everything else and end the game, might be the difference between just catching some wins. So maybe she does see some use. Next, we have Amber Lady. She is a 3-cost inkable 2/2/2. So those are all good stats all the way around. 3's a little on the higher side. Let's see what her ability is. When you play this character, you may play a character with cost 2 or less for free. I changed my mind. She is cracked. In Trinidogs, this is going to be an auto include, and this is going to not be, I think set 8 is going to be phenomenal for Trinidog overall from the previews I have seen. Lady here is nuts. This is a really, really good card. Really, really good. I could see Trinidog players looking for like 4 of her like immediately. Next, we have Jim Deere, still in Amber. He's a 2-cost inkable 0/4/1 who has Bodyguard. It's not bad with him only costing 2, but having a 4 health pool, right? So I could see him getting some use, especially for people that are newer to the game and maybe don't have access to a couple of the stronger bodyguards. He's not bad overall. I don't see any super downside other than he doesn't do any damage. But we've had other bodyguards also not do. So he's okay. Next, we have Gene. He's all Amber, 1-cost inkable 1/2/1. Whenever this character quests, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. Not crazy, not bad. He's inkable. He can still heal things, but nothing. There's no effect other than healing. He's okay. He's not crazy, but he's okay. Next, we have Perdita. She is a 2-cost inkable 1/4/1. While you have a puppy character in play, this character gets 1 extra, health, willpower. She does not get 1 per puppy. She's only going to get 1. So she'll be a 1/5 if you have another Dalmatian puppy out there. It's not awful. It's not great because she doesn't have Bodyguard also. And probably not the best card overall. Next, we have Rhino, who is a 1 inkable 1/2/1. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gets -1 strength until the start of your next turn. So when we play it, I pick one of your characters, they're -1 until the start of the next turn. That's not awful, especially if we could have a shiftable Rhino, but it's not game shaking necessarily either. Next, we have Darling Deer. She's a 5 inkable 4/4/1. When you play this character, chosen character gets +2 lore this turn. This card, on the other hand, could be kind of crazy. You might see this in something like Steel Song or some other Amber Steel deck. I don't necessarily know if you would see it in like Trinidog, maybe, because sometimes they do just need that little bit extra oomph in order to close out a game. I mean, maybe having her and Go-Go right? Like when you drop, you can pay 2 to just get whatever amount of lore for how much damage is on an opposing character. This might actually be kind of one of those cards. Maybe they only put 1 in the deck just to be like, I need it at the end of the game. You know, I'm looking for Chernobog, I'm looking for something else, and oh, I found Darling Deer. Boom, I just win. The game's over. It's not crazy. This might be good. We have the Colonel here, who is a 5 inkable 3/6/1. While you have 3 or more puppy characters in play, this character gets +2 strength and +2 lore. Him costing 5 is a little on the harder side. He's not a puppy himself, he's an ally, so I don't really know if there's a lot of use for him yet in a more competitive puppy deck, in more of a fun kind of setup. Maybe. Now we have another legendary. It's Chief Bogo, 6 inkable 5/5/1. During an opponent's turn, whenever one of your characters with bodyguard is banished, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character card with cost 5 or less, you may play that character for free, otherwise put it on the top of your deck. So the upside is, no matter what happens, if I lose a bodyguard, I get to show the top card of the deck, right? So I know what I'm going to be getting on my next turn. If it does cost 5 or less, I get to play that character for free, and it doesn't come in exerted or anything, so that's kind of good. I think the downside to him is that he costs 6. And I think if he were to cost 5, kind of like a Mufasa, not the same, because when Mufasa gets defeated, I flip over the top card and, you know, banished and everything. And then it might be a character and I can play it for free of any cost. So I don't think this is a phenomenal card. I think he's a little more on the expensive side. If he costs maybe 4 and he was a 4/4/1, he might see more use because you'd rather take the risk. When he costs 6, I mean, in that kind of scenario, I have to set up my whatever the good stuff I have. I have to set up a bodyguard or 2, and then they have to all survive. And then I play Chief Bogo on turn 6, you know, depending on ramping or anything else. Playing him on turn 6, right as you're crashing into a bodyguard, it's a little late in the game at that point. Really, what I'm hoping for is to play him earlier so that I'm rewarded for my bodyguard being defeated by you attacking me, so then I'm able to get another character for free. Him costing 6 with this ability, I think he's probably not going to see a tremendous amount of use because he's just a really heavy later game investment, because something that's playing a lot of aggro and some bodyguards, they want to win the game by turn 5 or turn 6. So him playing on 6, a little bit more painful. He is inkable though, so I could see some people experimenting with it. If he was an uninkable, this would be an auto, like, get out of my face kind of card. Next, we have Pua. He is an Amber Amethyst. He is a 3 inkable 2/2/1 with bodyguard. When this character is banished, you may draw a card. This card might see a decent amount of use. We'll have to wait and see. He doesn't bodyguard for a high amount, but it doesn't matter. I prevented one of my other characters from taking damage. He's inkable, so unlike Blue. But the fact that I get to draw a card when he's banished, so even if they do B prep, grab your swords, whatever, I'm going to now get to draw a card off of him, kind of like a Amethyst Diablo. That's a pretty good ability. This is probably one of the stronger Amber cards, I think. Granted, it's Amber Amethyst, but I think this is one of the stronger cards so far that we have seen that will probably see a decent amount of use. Next, we have Bruno Madrigal, who is an Amber Amethyst, 7 uninkable, 3/7, quest for 2. I think this is the first shift character we've seen. He's a shift 5. Whenever this character sings a song, you may draw a card for each character you have in play. That could be pretty crazy. Him being, Amber Amethyst, we've already discussed how that's a pretty decent Madrigal deck, but he doesn't have to be with the Madrigal deck. I don't know if there's a really good Bruno that fits with Amber Amethyst. Let's say like one or the other, to kind of put him into a Amber Amethyst aggro deck. He costs a lot. Him not being inkable, I don't know. I think I'd probably lean on the side. He's going to be better in a casual setting where you're playing like a Madrigal deck, but he's not going to be like a hyper competitive card because he costs a lot. He has a good ability though. It's just he's expensive for an investment. Next, we have Ka, who is 4 uninkable. He's an Amber Emerald card, 3/3/2, with his ability being whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -2 strength and gains Reckless until the start of your next turn. So he's not quite as good as the first chapter John Silver, where I just play him, you have Reckless, and then if I quest again, you're going to get Reckless. But he does lower strength also, so that's not bad. Him being uninkable, I think, is going to be the big restriction on him being playable, honestly. Next, we have Tramp, Amber, Emerald. Oh no, Trinidad. 6 inkable, 2/8/2, shifts for 4. Yeah. During an opponent's turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, you may draw a card. Oh no, this card is going to be crazy. He will probably see a decent amount of use. Now, the only upside to his ability for anybody who's not playing Trinidad, whenever one of your characters is banished, you may draw a card. So that could be actually pretty gross. And maybe there isn't an upside at all. This is actually a pretty good card overall. This definitely is. I think he'll see use in Trinidad, and I still think Trinidad is going to be one of the stronger decks going into set 8, like meta. Now we have King Candy, who is an Amber Ruby. He's a 3-cost inkable, 3/2/1. When this character is banished, you may return another racer card from your discard to your hand. So he can't return himself specifically, just another racer character card. So I guess if you had 2 King Candies, he could do that. But really, you're going to be trying to use him with probably a different card. The racers have been in the past a strong enough deck to be annoying. Not saying that they shouldn't be played, but annoying for, you're kind of used to the regular meta, and then someone's coming in with the Sugar Rush deck, and you're like, dang, that thing actually beat me. It may not win against everything, but it is decent enough. Once you kind of know how to defeat it, it's a little bit easier to kind of interrupt it. But more racer stuff is just more dangerous, and to help that actually become something that's viable. Next, we have Wreck-It Ralph, Amber Ruby, 7 uninkable, 7/5/1 with a shift 5. When you play this character, and whenever he quests, you may return a racer character card with cost 6 or less from your discard to your hand. If you do, gain 1 lore. Again, something else to help out the racer decks, and if you do get to return something, you're getting a lore off of it. Pretty good. Him being uninkable and a shift 5 is probably going to make it difficult to get him onto the table. I don't know if this is really going to help them overall. I have not played that deck. I played against it a number of times, but I haven't played it to be able to be like, this is really going to be great for us, and we're going to do really good with it. So I don't know. My gut is it sounds good, but it won't be good enough. Now we have an Amber Sapphire Patch, the puppy, who is a 1 uninkable, 0/2/1. He has Ward. While you have another puppy character in play, this character gets +1 lore for when he's questing. So that's not a bad puppy card. Next, we have Raleigh. He's a 4 inkable, 2/3/1 with support. When you play this character, you may put a character card from your discard into your inkwell face down and exert it. So when you play him, you get to put a character card. So you already have something defeated, ready to go, that you can ink. Now, I know with puppies, they have a way to be able to dig out other puppy cards from their inkwell. So him being another one to help you place a character card into your inkwell for you then to be able to bring it back out later. This is a pretty decent ramp card for them. I think this will be pretty dangerous and they'll probably be a auto include. I don't know if they would do 4. Kind of depends. I have not played puppies either. I played against it with a friend this set 7. But I could see this being useful for them for sure. Now we have Amber Sapphire Perdita, 6 inkable, 4/6/2. And she has shift 4, so that would work off of the other Perdita we saw earlier. When you play this character, you may put all puppy character cards from your discard into your inkwell face down and exerted. Oh my gosh. This will probably see use. Oh. Yeah, they're going to use this. Now we have an Amber Steel Pluto, 6 inkable, 2/7/2, with his ability being, while this character has no damage, he gets +2 strength and gains support. So kind of like what we had with the earlier Pluto, where he was a 1 strength with 5 health, and if he wasn't damaged, he had an extra 4 strength, so he was a 5/5. This one kind of has a similar kind of mechanic where if he's not damaged, he's actually a 4, but also has support. I don't know if this is going to be something you're going to see a tremendous amount of it being used, particularly because he costs 6. If he were to cost 5, really would probably be the roof of that, the ceiling of that. If he were to cost like 4, I think he might be more viable, but with him being 4 or 6, it's a little bit on the more expensive side. You probably won't see this. Next, we have Bolt, who's a Amber Steel, 3 inkable, 0/4 quest for 4. But his ability, this character enters play exerted. So quest really big, but he does enter play exerted. With him being Amber Steel, he has access to a lot of different bodyguards. Not Pua, unfortunately, because that's an Amber Amethyst from this set. But I think you could see a way to kind of use him. I would say that this will probably be better after rotation once we get Brawl out of here, depending on if it gets reprinted in set 9. I think that you might see a bit better use of him. In the way things are right now, I don't really see him being super viable. Maybe he would be good late game. He is inkable, so if you get him and you just can't really feel, you don't really feel safe enough to put him on the table, you can ink him. He might see use. I don't think it would be crazy amount, but he might in the current meta. Now we have Rhino that has Shift. Hey, see, we talked about that earlier. Rhino is an Amber Steel, 4 inkable, 4/3/2. He has Shift 2, so you'll get to actually use it. While this character has no damage, he gains Resist 2. That's a little gross. That's a little gross. This card might see some play. Now we have Antonio's Jaguar. He is a Amber, 2 inkable, 1/4 quest for 1. When you play this character, if you have a character named Antonio Madrigal in play, gain 1 lore. I don't really see this being a strong, because you kind of have to set it up. His stats outside of that are pretty weak, especially kind of being a Jaguar, only doing 1 damage. It's kind of interesting, but Now we got Calhoun for Amber. She is a 6 inkable, 4/5 quest for 2 with Bodyguard, so that's not bad. But when this character is banished, gain 1 lore. So she is a more expensive Baloo, right? Because you have the other Baloo out there from set 3. He's a 3 uninkable, but when he's banished, you get 2 lore. But he does no damage. So in this case, she is stronger to do damage back while she's a bodyguard. Doing 4 damage, she beats most other things. 5 health, she'll survive most things. And she's going to give you 1 lore. And she quests for 2. I think overall, this is not a terrible card. I think it's a decent card. It costing 6 makes it harder to see it being used. If she were to cost 5, I think people would be like, oh, she's really decent to pick. Her costing 6, coming into the game kind of a bit later, I don't think is as useful as what we would like it to be. Next up is Lady, who is Amber Emerald. She is a 1 inkable, 0/3/1, and she has 2 abilities. Whenever you play a character, this character gets 1 strength this turn, while this character has 3 strength or more, she gets +2 lore. This isn't maybe the best early game play, but later in the game, a little bit better. I don't know if she's going to fit as well in Chernodog as is, but I could see some people trying to figure out a way to make her work. Now we have Alma Madrigal. She is an Amber Amethyst, 6 inkable, 5/5, quest for 2. Once during your turn, whenever 1 or more of your characters sings a song, you may ready those characters. This is pretty gross. With her costing 6, it takes a little bit more time to get her set up, but she has a really strong stat line after that. If she were cheaper, I would say it would be better for the Madrigal deck overall, and actually might make it pretty dangerous because they're just readied. They can still quest, they can still sing, they can still fight, they can do whatever they want, or they could just stay readied, right, and pass into the next turn. So this is pretty good, and it would be worth kind of seeing how the Madrigal deck players make use of her. Now we have Clawhauser. He is Amber, 3 inkable, 1/4/2. He has Bodyguard, and he is a Singer 4. This is a little interesting because him having Bodyguard and still having Singer 4, that's not bad. I could see him getting some use. And with him being ally, maybe it also is good for Amber Steel because you play him, protect something else right on turn 3, then come turn 4, you play Bianca because she's an ally, or he's an ally, so she can come in cheaper. That might be pretty good. Now we have Joey. He is Amber, 3 inkable, 3/3/1. Whenever this character quests, you may remove up to 1 damage from each of your characters with Bodyguard. He probably won't see a lot of play. He has a decent stat, 3-3-1, right? It's okay, but his ability isn't super great because typically if I have bodyguards, I'm not going to have several of them that are damaged, more than likely, especially because a lot of the Amber bodyguards, except for like Calhoun, are on the weaker side. So there's not a lot of like big strength, right? So like I'm trading my character, or I'm hitting your characters, taking them out. Mine are still bodyguards, so when you try to reciprocate the attack, you're gonna have to hit this big body. Him healing them for 1 damage just is not wonderful. It doesn't draw you a card or anything else, so I don't think this one will probably see a lot of use. Now we've got Donald Duck. He is Amber, 8 inkable, 4/8/2. And his abilities, the first one, for each item named the nephew's piggy bank, which we'll get to in a moment, you have in play, you pay 2 less to play this character. When you play this character, your other characters gain exert them to draw a card this turn. So you would want to have piggy bank set up, make Donald cheaper, play Donald for less. Then you have, to get him earlier onto the table. He has pretty strong stats, being a 4/8/2. And then all of my other characters can just exert themselves, and I draw a card for each one that I do that with. So like that's a pretty good ability if I need some additional card draw to get in my hand. I don't really know which deck he would be useful in. Him being only Amber, he's able to play in, like everything. But I don't know. We'll kind of wait and see as we get to the piggy bank. Next up is Dalmatian Puppy. This is a tail wagger. So this is the first card to be reprinted yet in terms of numerical order for Lorcana, because they had done the Dalmatian Puppies in set 3. Is a 2 inkable, 2/3, quest for 1. His ability is the same as before. You may have up to 99 copies of Dalmatian Puppy tail wagger in your deck. The difference here from before is that before there were 5 different versions of the Dalmatian Puppy tail wagger, and this one is just the one. So, at least it's being reprinted, which will mean that you're able to use those earlier ones all the way through set 13, up to 13. Set 13 will be when they would rotate out as of right now. Now for the first action that we've gotten to. Amber Ruby, 2-cost inkable. Draw a card. Chosen character of yours gets +5 strength this turn. At the end of your turn, banish them. So obviously you're going to immediately get to draw a card. You buff one of your characters, give it a ton of extra strength. You're going to crash it into something. And then if it already wasn't defeated, you're going to banish them at the end of the turn. So you would do it with something that you aren't really worried about it being banished, right? Because you're going to, whatever, it's going to get banished anyway. So I'll just crash it into the biggest target that I can. And then if you kind of link that up with King Candy or you wouldn't really need to do it with Wreck-It Ralph because he's already a 7 strength, but maybe you just need that extra oomph to finish something off, a library or a McDuck Manor or something. And then they get banished, and then you have their other abilities, right, that are on those character cards to help your racer deck. So it's not crazy. If this was Amber only, it would be nuts. It being Amber Ruby, we probably won't see a lot of play overall. All right, Amber Steel action that is a 1-cost inkable. It's She's Your Person. So you have 2 abilities here to pick from because it says choose one. Remove up to 3 damage from chosen character, or remove up to 3 damage from each of your characters with bodyguard. Now this might see more use because you're able to heal a lot of things with bodyguard, and for 3 rather than 1. We'll see. I don't really see this being a tremendously useful card, but it is 1 inkable, so you're able to play this really cheaply. It might actually be useful. Now we have Only So Much Room. It is an Amber Emerald 4 inkable action. Return chosen character with 2 power or strength or less to their player's hand. Return a character card from your discard to your hand. Return with 2 or less to their player's hand. Return a character card from your discard to your hand. So I am able to choose any character that is on the table with 2 strength or less to that player's hand. So I could bounce one of my own characters or an opponent's. But I also get to return a character card from my discard to my hand. If this was a song, it would be nuts. It not being a song, maybe it's a little iffy. Costing 4, I get why it's 4 because you get to, you could bounce a friendly target or an enemy target, and then, you can return something to your own hand. It costing 4 though and being inkable, it might be useful for them. There might be a time where they're like, look, I need to pick up Genie or I need to pick up something else that's just kind of there from on my opponent's side, and then I get to bring a card to my hand anyway. So maybe in Trainer Dogs, maybe. I don't really see this being useful though in the Amber Emerald discard deck because it's not a song. If it were a song and the muses could make use of it, oh my gosh, it would be crazy. All right, it means no worries. This is an Amber 9 uninkable song. It has Sing Together 9. Return up to 3 character cards from your discard to your hand. You pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn. Return up to 3 characters from your discard to your hand. You pay 2 less for the next character you play. So, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it needing Sing Together 9 is difficult, but I mean, like, Chernobog could sing it if you really needed to. So it being only Amber is probably the best use of this card. It might see some use. All right. Next, we have Trials and Tribulations 2 Inkable Song. Chosen character gets -4 power strength until the start of your next turn. Probably not going to see a lot of use of this because it doesn't have an additional ability, draw a card or ready a character or something. So it's probably not going to see a crazy amount of use, I would think. All right, now we found the Nephew's Piggy Bank. It's an Amber item, 2 uninkable. If you have a character named Donald Duck in play, you pay 1 less to play this item. So if we have a different Donald Duck, we can play the piggy banks for a little bit easier. The second ability is Exert the Piggy Bank. Chosen character gets -1 strength until the start of your next turn. The piggy bank, well, so like we have the Big Donald who can enter play easier if you have piggy banks, but then piggy banks also are cheaper if you already have Donald. So they kind of have their own like mini game cycle kind of going on. This isn't super wonderful though, because it's only going to reduce strength of an enemy character by 1. Well, I guess you could chosen character. It could be even your own. I don't know why you would do that, but maybe. I don't really see this as being a phenomenal card. All right, now we got our first fully amethyst card. It is the Palace Guard. 1 inkable, 1/4/1 with Vanish. So the upside here is it is a 1/4 body. Very likely on turn 1 on, my opponent is not going to try to do something like fire the cannons at me or something else, right? It'd be kind of a waste. It doesn't quest big. It doesn't have huge damage. The upside to us, if we were playing it, is that it is a high health pool, so it is able to kind of exist for a while. It's harder for them to remove it, for us to be able to use like Mim Fox or something. So we're able to kind of bounce and keep him around so he can still quest or even challenge and still exist while waiting to do the bouncing. So this is not a bad card. I don't know if you would see a lot of use of this in Ruby Amethyst, because I mean we've got Chernobog's Followers, Diablo, the Magic Broom for 1. Those are better choices. But I could see some builds using this though. All right, next we have Droon. It is an amethyst only card, 4 inkable, 1/5/1, but it has Challenger 4. I would say this would have a higher likelihood of seeing use if it quested for 2 or 3, which would be kind of crazy. But because it's, it's a 1/5 that still cost me 4 to put on the table. Yeah, it's got Challenger 4, but I don't have a way. It doesn't have Rush. It doesn't have something else for me to really get it on the table and use it. And it not having a secondary ability, I don't see this probably seeing a lot of use. Now we have Madame Medusa, Amethyst Ruby. 3 inkable, 3/3, questing for 1. When you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to another chosen character of yours to return chosen character with cost 2 or less to their player's hands. The upside of this ability is it is a may ability. We are not required to do it like Teeth Inhibitions or the Scar that has, the Teeth Inhibitions built into him. We get to choose to do it. So you could still play her just to have a strong 3/3 on the table. The upside being we could also do you can't do the 2 damage to herself, so you have to have another character on the table, but we are able to return chosen character with cost 2 or less. This isn't a phenomenal card. If it could be a 2 strength character, it would be pretty nutty, but maybe you could use her. You do 2 damage to your own Diablo, you draw a card, you bounce something of theirs, but with it only having, with the cost being 2 or less and it not being items also, it only being characters, overall, I don't think you're going to see a lot of use of this at all. Now we've got Hades, who is Amethyst Ruby, 7, uninkable, 3/6/2. When you play this character, and whenever he quests, you may deal 2 damage to another chosen character of yours to draw 2 cards. Maybe. Him being uninkable is a big problem. Him not having shift, which I don't think there's anything good for him to shift. There is that one, Amethyst Hades. It's not great. Hit being Amethyst Ruby. I don't really see Ruby Amethyst wanting to run this pretty much at all. Yeah, I get to do 2 damage, and then I'm gonna. But I mean, it has to be a chosen character of mine. But I get to draw 2 cards. It's not wonderful. It's not awful. It's probably a cool card that we don't play. All right, Amethyst Steel, Lena Sabrawing. Anyway, she is a 3 inkable, 1/3/1. She has evasive, and she has an ability where she exerts, deal 1 damage to chosen character, which we've had previously on a different Robin Hood. It's not awful. It having evasive is kind of frustrating, right? But I think for Amethyst Steel, in a good way, it having evasive being frustrating. But I think Amethyst Steel has just better choices to go with, so I don't see her seeing a lot of use. We have Abu, who is Amethyst Steel, 6 inkable, 3/7, questing for 1. He is an illusion, so he has Vanish. His other ability is whenever this character quests, gain lore equal to the lore of chosen opposing character. So we would get our 1 lore, and then we're going to gain lore equal to... No. No, I would say we don't get the 1. I would choose one of your characters, say it has a 4. So now, this Abu will now have 4 lore when he quests, and if you have no characters, I will always still quest for 1. That's how I would read that. It's not a bad thing. Him costing 6 is tough because he is an illusion, so it is easy to just get rid of him with lots of cards that could select him, actions and stuff. This is probably more gimmicky. It's probably something like the Queen, the Emerald Queen, where like you discard a card, right, and you get that lore. It's one of those where like, yeah, I want it to work, but if once I've seen you use it on me and I have the ability to answer him in any way, shape, or form, as soon as you play him, I'm just going to take him out. I'm not going to let you do it. And him costing 6 for Amethyst Steel is a huge investment. They have no way to ramp. So I think that this isn't so much a game closer. It's more of a fool me once, shame on me kind of thing, you know, and I don't really want you to do it 2 or 3 times to me in a match or in a whole round at a tournament. So I would say it's cool in concept, probably not going to see a lot of use. Now we got a Bruno Madrigal, who is Amethyst, 4 inkable, 3/4/1. When you play this character, choose an opposing character, can't ready at the start of their next turn. So he's kind of a mini Elsa, but it doesn't allow me to exert one of your characters first, and then they stay exerted. In this case, it doesn't actually say they have to be exerted, which is interesting because like if they're already ready, they can't re-ready because they're already readied. So obviously you'd pick an exerted character to use this ability. It's not bad. I don't really see it maybe so much in like Ruby Amethyst. In like an Amethyst Steel deck, I could see this a lot more. Maybe in an Amethyst Amber deck where they want to play it and kind of keep you from doing something. Maybe the same with Blurple. They might see some use. Maybe a 2 of. Maybe. He only costs 4, so that's not awful for them, you know. So maybe we might see this. Now we've got a Royal Guard Amethyst, 1 inkable, 1/2/1. When you draw a card, whenever you draw a card, this character gains Challenger 1 this turn. So that to me sounds like it stacks, right? Whenever you draw a card. So as long as I'm able to like play Rabbit, bounce Rabbit, right? Then he's going to be now a Challenger 2 because those would stack. If I replay Rabbit, now he's a Challenger 3. So that's in Amethyst. He might see use because he only costs 1, and I don't care if he trades out, right? He's a 1 cost that can just be a bomb, right, and crash into something. He might see some use. That one might be good to get foils of. All right, Cusco, who is Amethyst, 4 inkable, 1/3/1. When you play this character, you may return chosen character, item, or location with cost 2 or less to their player's hand. One of the biggest frustrations for Ruby Amethyst, which I have played a lot of, is the fact that we have no item interaction, right? We have nothing that we can do. So this Cusco finally allows us to have something to return. I mean, right now there's not really a lot of locations we have to worry about that only cost 1, but being able to return an item that costs 2 or less might be helpful. The downside is I wish that it cost 3, or it was a cost 3 item, because that's like Maurice's workshop, that's Fishbone Quill. There's a lot of stuff that's 3. Doing 2 or less, it only really restricts us to seeing like popsicles, ice blocks, which we don't really see anymore, Fortisphere, Sapphire Coil, stuff like that. We really needed it to cost 3. So I'm excited that they give us something to now interact with locations and items. But with it not costing, with it not being a cost 3 or less kind of situation, I just don't really think he's going to see a lot of use. His stats are very weak outside of this one ability. So it's not like he's a 4/3 or something where like, okay, I make you bounce the popsicle, now you're going to have to replay it. You're going to draw another card, but at least I've got a decently strong body. I think overall, this is one of those cards where you wish it was slightly better to make it worth playing. Now we've got Megara, who is Amethyst, 3 inkable, 2/5/1. While you have a character named Hades in play, this character gains Challenger +2. Probably not going to see her get used basically at all. Yelana for Amethyst, 3 inkable, 2/3/2. When you play this character, chosen character gains Challenger +2 this turn. This is not a bad card. This might see some play, and her being Amethyst only is better than, what was it, the Jafar in the last set that was Steel, and he gave something Challenger 2, but he was a 3/2 that quested for 2. I like this version better because it's only Amethyst, so I can kind of use it in a lot of different ways, but we'll see. She's not a bad card. Rider, Amethyst, 4 inkable, 3/4/1 with evasive. Decent stats. It being evasive is okay. It's all right. Now we get our very first Bambi card. This is a Amethyst, 2 inkable, 3/2/1. Very vanilla. But the stats aren't bad. Really being a 2 that can do 3 damage on the following turn, maybe it could see some use. We got Poe Dispel, Amethyst, 3 inkable, 3/4/1 vanilla. Probably will never see the light of day. Madam Mim, Amethyst, 3 inkable, 4/3/1. Likely also not to see a tremendous amount of play because she has no abilities. Elsa for Amethyst, 4 inkable, 3/4/1. Her ability, you spend 1, choose and discard a card, exert chosen opposing character. I don't have to exert her. I can pay 1 as much as I want, as long as I have a card that I can also discard. This might see some use. It's not crazy because I do have to discard. So there's an ink cost and a discard element. Maybe though, because I do get to exert them. So maybe. All right, first legendary for Amethyst, Pinocchio. He is a Amethyst only, 4 inkable, 0/4/2 with evasive. Once during your turn, whenever you ready this character, you may draw a card. Maybe. He does have evasive, so it's not as easy to just be immediately deleted. With him having 4 health, that's pretty difficult for like Steel or Amber Steel to get rid of him. Even certain evasive characters would have difficulty getting rid of a 0/4 body. So it might work. And it says once during your turn, whenever you ready this character, you may draw a card. So you only get to do it once, but you could ready him in different ways to be able to draw a card also. All right, moving on to the next. We got Jiminy Cricket. He is an Amethyst, 2 inkable, 1/1, quest for 1 with evasive. And his ability, is while this character is exerted, opposing characters with rush enter play exerted. This is definitely one of the strongest Amethyst cards we've seen this set. I think that this one, you won't probably see 4 of him being in a lot of decks, but I think that decks maybe that are Amethyst Steel, Ruby Amethyst maybe even, or maybe somebody trying to counter some of the Peter Pan stuff that we've got going on right now that maybe don't have an answer to delete Peter Pan immediately, or just want to have this as like an extra backup thing. It making rush characters enter with, they're already exerted as long as he is still alive, and you just like don't quest with him or you protect him in some way. It's pretty good. This is one that I think I want to try to get some foils of, because I think he might be just nice to have in the collection. He's useful. Now we got Bambi, Little Prince. He is a 3 uninkable, 1/1 quest for 3. His ability, first ability, say hello. When you play this character, gain 1 lore. So I play him, immediately get a lore. His other ability, when an opponent plays a character, return this character to your hand. So you know that he only has 1 health. So if you're up against Amber Steel, they're going to want to just hit him immediately. They're just going to shoot him, right? They're going to want to get rid of him really quickly. And so they're probably going to try to just sing and get rid of him, because what they don't want to do is play a character and then bounce him into your hand, more than likely. He's 3 uninkable. If he cost 3 and was inkable, I think you would see like 4 all the time, especially in Amber Amethyst. He might be an interesting card. He is probably playable, and we probably haven't seen the best ways that he's going to be playable yet, but I think he helps the aggro decks. He immediately gives you the lore, and once they run out of characters, as your opponent and stuff, he might be able to stick and be able to quest for 3 at some point. That might be pretty gross. I don't know if you would see 4 of in a deck, but I think we'll see 2s, maybe 3s. Monstro, Amethyst, 8 inkable. He's a big boy. 6/8/2 with rush. Woo! Choose and discard a card. Ready this character. He can't quest for the rest of this turn. But if I crash him into something, I could then discard a card, ready him, crash again. Man, 8 inkable. I bet you will not see him. I wouldn't think you probably are going to see him in 8. I'm sorry. You're probably not going to see him in a Ruby Amethyst. You know where you're probably going to see him? Blurple. Yeah. I think you're going to see this in Blurple, and it's not going to be pleasant, because he has got a big butt. Being 8 health, he is going to be able to, and doing 6 damage, he's going to smash right into something. You're going to watch them discard a card, re-ready him, and then do it again and just destroy whatever important stuff you had. This is a pretty good card. Blurple will probably be running this. Now we've got Nero, Fearsome Crocodile, Amethyst, 2 uninkable, 2/3, quest for 1. He has an ability where if you exert him, move 1 damage counter from this character to choosing opposing character. It's not that great. He's a 2/3 that costs 2 to put on the table. If I'm running Amethyst, there's a lot of better choices that I have. Moving 1 damage when he only has a 3 health pool isn't phenomenal. I'd rather just quest with him and just make him a threat. He's probably a pass. Magicka Dispel. This is Amethyst Emerald, 5 uninkable, 3/3/2. She has evasive. When you play this character, you may return you may return another chosen character of yours to your hand to draw a card. You may return another chosen character of yours to your hand to draw a card. Probably not going to see a lot of use of her. Cusco, Amethyst Emerald, 7 inkable, 5/5/2 with shift 4. When you play this character, each opponent chooses one of their characters and puts that card on the bottom of their deck. Then each opponent may draw a card. When you play this character, each opponent chooses one of their characters and puts that card on the bottom of their deck. So they have to basically banish a character, right? It's going to the deck, not to the discard, but it is effectively removing them from the game. Take them, they get to pick, put it on the bottom of your deck, then each opponent may draw a card. So you do get to remove something. This could be useful to get rid of something that's really big. Overall, with him costing 7, he does shift for 4, but he costs 7. So if I don't have a little Cusco on the table, I don't really see this getting a lot of uses, which is a shame because I love Cusco. Now we got Yzma, very spooky looking picture. Amethyst Emerald, 6 uninkable, 3/6/2. And her ability, when you play this character, if you have a card named Pull the Lever in your discard, you may search your deck for a card named Wrong Lever and reveal that card to all players. Put that card into your hand and shuffle your deck. We'll get to those in a second. Those could be really useful. Right now, with her being 6 uninkable, I don't see this really working. Her whole ability only works with those 2 other cards being in your deck, one of those having to have to be in your discard, so you have delays of setup. If she was a shiftable, I think she would be better. With her not being shiftable, I don't think she's probably going to get used. Now we got Madam Mim, Amethyst Ruby, 6 uninkable. 6/5/1. She shifts for 2, my brothers. She shifts for 2. That does 6 damage. And she has a different ability. When you play this character, banish her or return another chosen character of yours to your hand. So she still has the bounce mechanic that we're used to with Snake and Mimfox and stuff, but she shifts, which is very different than those versions where they have to, just bounce something. Her being able to shift on turn 3 is pretty good. Now, you can't take the Snake, because if you played the Snake, well, actually, no, you could still play her on turn 3. You could turn 1 something, play. Turn 2, play Snake, bounce that 1-drop. Turn 3, play the 1-drop, then shift her, bounce the 1-drop again, but now you've got a Maui effectively on the table, doing 6 damage to anything your opponent has, whether that's the big shift Robin that they got on 3, the 2-shift Queen. My goodness, what other things that are dangerous that can shift that? Anything from Morph, right? You're just deleting it, because there is nothing on turn 3 that is surviving 6. As of right now that I can think of off the top of my head, there is nothing. Nothing is surviving. And then from then on, you've got this huge body on the table. On turn 3, you've got a 6/5. That's crazy. And she costs 6. So you can sing anything that you have basically in Ruby Amethyst. I can't think of anything outside of like the Sing Together cards that I can't sing. I probably wouldn't do something like Pirate's Life, but I mean, being able to do Be King Undisputed, Teeth and Ambition, she can tank that damage easily and still be alive and still delete something. Friends on the other side, right? Like this is a dangerous card. This is. I don't know if Ruby Amethyst will play like 4 of her. I could see 3. Can we see this replace Maui? Probably not fully, because Maui has Rush, right? So he can just do things on his own. He's inkable. I'm seriously thinking of trying to figure out if I can put 2 of her in my deck. We'll see. This is a big girl. She's dangerous. This is a good card. Now we got Mother Gothel, who's an Amethyst Ruby, 2 uninkable, 1/3/1, and her ability, when you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to another chosen character of yours to give that character challenger 1, and when this character is banished in a challenge, return this card to your hand this turn. So they gain an extra challenger 1, so they're going to do an extra damage, and if they get banished in that challenge, you're going to be able to return that card to your hand. But it's only when you play her, and you do have to do 2 damage to another chosen character of yours. So there is a lot happening with this card. I would assume more than likely we're not going to see this get played, because if I play her on 2, what do I have on 1 that's going to survive it? I'm going to have to play Olaf. I'm going to have to play Minnie Mouse because she's Amethyst and Ruby. So I have to play one of those characters, do 2 damage to them. Now they're going to be a 2-strength character crashing into something on my opponents. They're going to get banished and go back to my hand. It's just a lot of stuff. And like, what's the payoff, right? Like I traded my Minnie Mouse for their Cinderella on turn 1, yeah, or on turn 2, yeah, maybe, but I have to be going first. That she has to like be quested down or exerted down. It's not wonderful, but this card might see some use, but I kind of need to see her really on turn 2. And with her not being inkable, I imagine she's not going to see use in later game either. Now we got Blue Fairy. She's Amethyst Sapphire, 2 inkable, 2/2/1. She has evasive and support. Blurple's going to probably use her to have a pretty decent body on turn 2 outside of just wanting to ramp. Yeah, they'll still want to ramp most of the time, but this is a decent option to have, like, oh, I didn't hit my ramp, but I did get Blue Fairy. I can see that. And we got Anna, Amethyst Sapphire, 6 inkable, 3/6/2. She shifts for 4. She has support. And she has, whenever this character quests, if you have a character named Elsa in play, you may draw a card. I mean, a lot of the Anna and Elsa stuff really like thrive off of each other. This kind of continues that. I don't really see this being super useful overall, but I mean, if you're able to make that deck kind of work, you would probably use her. Now we got the Sultan. He's Amethyst Steel, 5 uninkable, 5/5/2, big body. He has vanished because he's an illusion. Whenever one of your illusion characters quests, you can exert chosen opposing character. So that, funny enough, the Sultan might see use because I can play him, and then if I've got, Giant Cobra on the table, I'm going to quest with him, and now all of a sudden I'm going to exert something that you didn't want me to, and I'm going to use somebody else to crash into it. This might see use. It really might. Now we got the big boy, Jafar, Amethyst Steel, 5 uninkable, 4/4, quest for 3. Whenever this character quests, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. So it's kind of a bummer because you are kind of filtering your deck. If an illusion character is discarded this way, you may play that character for free. So obviously he's going to want to have, if you're Amethyst Steel in this case, you're going to want to have a decent number of, or already have a illusion in your hand to then discard to be able to get it on the table for free. So it has upsides, but he doesn't shift, which is unfortunate because we have some decent, Steel, Amethyst, Jafars to pick from. He doesn't shift. He does cost 5. He is not inkable. And he still has to quest. So we can't even set him up by having a small Jafar on table. We shift him in. We quest right away. And then we're able to kind of combo this. We have to set it. Hope nobody messes with it. Then get to quest. Then get to do it. I think that he's just not going to see a lot of competitive play because he doesn't have shift. If he did, even being uninkable, he would still be at least achievable to get to his ability. Right now, yeah, he's a 4/4, so he's not going to get Medusa or Brawled or stuff like that. It's just tough. It's just kind of tough to get him to do his ability. Now we got Camilo Madrigal. He is Amethyst, 5 inkable, 4/4/2. When this character is banished in a challenge, return this card to your hand. We've seen this ability before. He doesn't have rush, so you got to kind of set him, let him dry, then attack. Not bad. He has a decent health pool, so he can trade with some bigger stuff, but Now we got Flower, Amethyst. He is a 3 inkable, 3/3/1. Whenever you play another character, look at the top card of your deck, put it on either the top of or the bottom of your deck. So he's kind of a Ursula's Cauldron, but I mean, you don't exert it to do it. It's just whenever I play another character, I get to do that. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't see this really fitting into a lot of Amethyst situations, but we'll see. Now we got our first action for Amethyst, which is Forest Duel, 5 inkable. Your character gains Challenger 2, and the ability when this character is banished in the challenge, return this card to your hand this turn. It being 5 inkable, it not being a song, I don't really see this getting used probably at all. It's cool art, though. Next Amethyst action, They Never Come Back. 3 inkable. Up to 2 chosen characters can't ready at the start of their next turn, draw a card. This will probably see some use because you're able to basically do the Elsa ability. You don't get to choose and exert, but if they're already exerted, I can pick up to 2. They can't ready, and I'm going to get a card out of it, right? So I'm able to play this and draw a card even if I can't do the first part. So I think this is a decent card. If it was a song, it would be really strong. It being inkable, I'm able to kind of get some forgiveness of it in my deck. Now we got the first song for Amethyst, Fantastical and Magical. 9 uninkable, sing together 9. For each character that sang this song, draw a card and gain 1 lore. This card is nasty. This will probably see use outside of even the Madrigal deck. It could see just use in the Amber Amethyst deck. You can sing with 2 to 3 characters. I'm going to draw that many cards, and I'm going to gain 1 lore. This is pretty good for them to be able to refill their hand, which is a big problem that they have. So if I can sing with like Rabbit or Goat, things that if I banish, if I banish your characters, you're rewarded anyway. So I'm going to use them and sacrifice them effectively to just sing this, and I'm going to draw all these extra cards and get a lore out of it. And I'm sorry, it's for each character that's saying you gain 1 lore. So even if I can sing with 3 characters, I'm still going to get 3. So there's really no downside to this card outside it's uninkable. If it was inkable, it'd be so gross. But I think this one will see some use, probably a 2 of. Now we finally found Pull the Lever. It's an action that is Amethyst Emerald, 3 inkable. You get to choose one of 2 things. Draw 2 cards, or each opponent chooses and discards a card. That's usable. Now we got Amethyst Sapphire Into the Unknown, 3 inkable. This is a song. Put chosen exerted character into their player's inkwell face down and exerted. Oh boy. It's a song that basically is Let It Go. Oh, boys and girls, this is a problem. Blurple didn't need this. This card will see use. It'll probably be a 3 of to a 4 of, because we need to be able to exert our characters right to quest and do other things, and then they're going to be like, oh, that's cool, put it in your ink. And you're like, that costs 3? Whoa, that's crazy. This is a gross card. It makes me want to play Blurple. Amethyst action. Everybody's got a weakness. 4 inkable. Move 1 damage counter from each damage character you have in play to chosen opposing character. So I'm going to take all 1 damage from all of my characters that I want. I'm going to put that all onto one focused target. Draw a card for each damage counter move this way. Not bad. Probably won't see a crazy use, but it isn't bad. It being inkable is the only thing that's kind of redeems it. So maybe. Now we got the Scarab. It is an Amethyst item, 2 on inkable. It has the ability exert the Scarab, pay 2, return an illusion character card from your discard to your hand. We might see use of this. We might not. It's not crazy good, but it's okay. Amethyst Sapphire item is called Ice Spikes, 2 inkable. When you play this item, exert chosen opposing character. Oh my gosh. I can exert the item, pay 1, and exert chosen opposing item. It can't ready at the start of its next turn. So this is even a way for Amethyst Sapphire to interact with like Ruby Sapphire items, right? I can, oh, you got that lucky dime over there. It would be crazy if I were to just go ahead and say it can't ready at the start of its next turn. Now, what would be interesting, and I think we have to just wait for rules clarification because I don't want to say anything completely wrong. It does say exert chosen opposing item. It can't ready at the start of its next turn. So if we were basing off of how the big Elsa works from the first chapter, where I can even choose a character that's already exerted and it can't ready, I would assume that on my next, so like I've already played this item, right? I choose your lucky dime. I pay the 1. I exert it. My ice spikes. You can't ready lucky dime. So it goes to my next turn, right? Lucky dime is still exerted, hasn't readied because it couldn't last time. I can pay 1, do it again. Lucky dime is still locked down. Even though I didn't exert it, it's already still stuck. This is, outside of playing something like Hideaway or Cusco to remove the item altogether, this is pretty gross. I think this is Blurple might actually be getting an opportunity to really shine here. Now we're moving on to Emerald. Wilhelmina Packard. She's a 3 inkable, 3/4/1, no other abilities. We got Basil here. Emerald, 7 inkable, 5/4, questing for 2. When you play this character, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. So when I play him, I'm going to bounce a character at all, right? Whenever this character quests, chosen opponent discards a card at random. So I have an ability, Mother Gothel, effectively. When I play him, I can choose something, pick that character back up, put it in your hand, and then if he survives the round, I'm going to quest. And now, oh, yay, by the way, you get to discard a card at random. This is pretty gross. Upside is he costs 7, so he's not broken. He doesn't have a shift, but this is a good card. Will we see a lot? I don't know. All right, Tramp. Emerald, 3 inkable, 3/3/1. When you play this character, chosen character gains ward until the start of your next turn. We might see this being used. I think the small Tramp from this set is better. But, I mean, I do get to play him and immediately give ward to something. And if I have Lady, I think he can come in for 1 cheaper, right? From the Emerald Lady from set 7. So he might... This actually... No, I might be wrong. This might be crazy good. We got Chaka. Emerald, 4 inkable, 3/3/1. When you play this character, if you have a character named Tipo in play, chosen opposing character gains Reckless during their next turn. Probably not going to see this one getting used. And then we got Tipo. He's a 2 inkable, 2/2/1 with evasive. I mean, him being a 2/2 that has evasive, he costs 2, he's inkable. You might see this one, though, getting some use, but you're not going to see Chaka. Bill the Lizard. He is a 1 inkable, 1/2/1. While another character in play has damage, this character gains evasive. You just play Pegasus while you can. He's just better, right? March Hare, Emerald, 4 inkable, 3/4/1. When you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to chosen damaged character. Could be useful. Probably won't see a lot of use of him because they do have to already have damage in order to play this to do that 2 extra damage, but he is inkable. He falls into the unlikely, but maybe. Now we got Fred. He's a 3 inkable, 2/3 quest for 2. When you play this character, you may banish a chosen item. You will 100% see this card being played in Sapphire Emerald decks. You might even see this in Emerald Steel decks because him being able to get played, he has a pretty decent stats. He's inkable. When I play him, I just get rid of an item. I just delete it. That's pretty good. That is very good. Now we got Mad Dog. He is a 4 inkable, 4/4/1. If you have a character named Don Carnage in play, you pay 1 less to play this character. Probably not going to see him very often. Then we got Dale. He is a 1 inkable, 1/3/1. We've seen these, kind of vanilla stats elsewhere, so maybe. Lewis. He is a 3 inkable, 4/3/1. This character enters play exerted, but when you play this character, chosen opposing character gains reckless during their next turn. So I am able to play him. He's already exerted, right? So he's waiting to hit something. And when I play him, I get to choose another character, even if they're not even exerted. Now they have reckless on my next turn. So it's kind of a way to set up something that's going to trade really big because he's a 4/3. So I might survive. I could see him being better towards early game when I can make you have to delete something you didn't want to or something you're trying to keep safe. We'll see. Napoleon. He is a 4 inkable, 3/6/1. Otherwise, he's vanilla. Chip. 4 inkable, 3/2/1. When you play this character, chosen opponent chooses and discards a card. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. He might see some use in discard. Probably not. They have some good choices right now. Maybe after the rotation, he'll be better, but okay. Now we got Fred again, who is a 7 inkable, 5/6/3. He shifts for 5. So we've already got one good, smaller Fred. Now we got the big shifting one. Whenever this character quests, which will be easy because we've already shifted onto something, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a Floodborn character card. Put that card into your hand and shuffle the rest into your deck. This could be a good way if you're playing Diablo to try to look for him. Maybe you played him earlier, or you shifted earlier, he got deleted, or you just want a second one, and now you're able to go kind of dig through your deck. The downside is it's just going to be the top until you reveal a Floodborn. But maybe it could see some use. I think he has a really big health pool. You're going to get rewarded with an additional character anyway. So, right, you're going to get an extra Floodborn character. So you have card draw kind of already. You're going to have to shuffle the deck. But, whatever. You didn't necessarily know what was coming up anyway. So this card might see some use. Now we got Gadget Hack Wrench. She's still all emerald. 4 inkable, 3/2, quest for 2. When you play this character, if an opponent has more cards in their hand than you, you may draw a card. It might see some use, but probably on the more unlikely side. Now we got Rhea, 6 inkable, 5/5/2. Whenever this character quests, you may pay 2 to ready another chosen character. She is the first legendary I think that we've seen for Emerald, and this is an actually usable ability. The downside is you do have to have her dry for a turn. She can't shift. You have to dry, quest with her, and then I can pay 2 to ready another chosen. So I can't do her. So you can't really quest, pay 2, ready, quest again with her, but you could do it with another character. And there's a lot of characters in Emerald that can quest pretty big. So me being able to just pay and just generate a bunch, she really creates herself. She really draws a lot of attention really quick. The fact she's a 5/5, there's not a lot of easy ways to get rid of her. You'd have to do Along Came Zeus from Steel. You'd have to, there's other ways to get rid of her outside of Ruby. But she's a decent health pool right out of the gate that's difficult to target. Rapunzel, this is their second legendary. For Emerald, 5 inkable, 2/5/2, has evasive. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character can't quest during their next turn. It's a decent ability. She quests okay. She doesn't quest, she has evasive, but she doesn't quest super big. She doesn't shift. So if I'm doing a Amber Emerald kind of situation, she's not phenomenal. I think overall this is a cool card for the art and everything, but she is not a super usable card. I'd say that Rhea is better. Now we got Flynn Rider, which is kind of a spooky art. I don't really think it looks like Flynn Rider a whole lot. 4 inkable, uninkable, sorry. 1/4, quest for 3. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging player may choose and discard a card. If they don't, you gain 2. So if you kind of set him up in a discard deck, right, whenever he's challenged, no, that's only going to help when I have quested or done something with him, then you're attacking me. You then may choose and discard a card. If you don't, I gain 2 lore. So he's more like the first chapter Flynn Rider where, like, you know, I get challenged, you're going to discard a card. The thing is that you probably already are not going to attack him until you're ready to. So you already have a card ready to discard. So I don't think you're likely to ever get the 2 lore. Him not being shiftable, him not being inkable. I don't see this as being great because there's so many ways to get rid of something that's a 1/4 and survive, right? So overall, cool idea, probably not useful. Now we got Dormouse, who is a Emerald Ruby, 2 inkable, 1/2/1. When you play this character, you may put 1 damage counter on chosen character. That's kind of good, especially because you're putting 1 damage counter on them, so it gets around resist. This might be useful. An Emerald Ruby Alice, 6 inkable, 2/6, quest for 2, shift 3. Whenever this character quests, put 1 damage counter on each other character. So this would count all characters, even yourself, which you'll see in a moment because I know there's one other Queen of Hearts card that will make sense for that. Oh, look, there she is. Queen of Hearts, Emerald Ruby, 4 inkable, 2/3/3. While there are 5 or more characters with damage in play, this character gets +3 lore. So we set up Alice. Well, Alice will actually, I guess we could shift with her. But the objective being, we set up Alice, we quest with her, then we get to quest with Queen of Hearts, and she's going to quest for 6. The downside is, if she's here and dried, Alice probably did a damage also to Queen of Hearts, so now she's a 2/2, right? It's not bad. I know, especially in set 7, we had a lot of Queen of Hearts, King of Hearts, and stuff that were kind of setting up for Emerald Ruby to have like a payoff of if your characters are damaged, they can't quest, or they enter play, they can't even. So there's other things that I think kind of work together. Will this work overall? I don't know. I know that Emerald Ruby decks in general are kind of dangerous because we don't really see them a lot, and somebody who's really good at it is pretty creative. So maybe, but probably more than likely, this isn't completely like cracked. So we're probably not going to. Hero Hamada, he is a Emerald Sapphire, 2 inkable, 1/3/1 with an ability. If you exert hero, ready chosen Floodborn character. This card will probably be super gross as Emerald Sapphire players set things up. They wait for a really big turn. They quest with something really big. They then exert hero and then quest for big again, and they can set up a whole bunch of combos. So I think this card will see use in those decks. Now we got Emerald Sapphire, Go-Go Tamago, 4 on inkable, 3/3. She shifts for 4. I'm sorry, she also quests for 2. So she's a 3/3/2. She shifts for 4. She has evasive. When you play this character, if you use shift to play her, you may put chosen character into their player's inkwell face down and exerted. So if I shift her in, I get to just banish something of yours basically to the inkwell. That's pretty good. Well, I don't think we'll see a ton of her because she's on inkable, but that is good. Dawn Carnage, Emerald Steel, 3 on inkable, 3/2/1 with evasive. Whenever you play an action that isn't a song, chosen opposing character gains reckless during their next turn. So it has to be an action. It can't be a song though. I don't think this is going to see a lot of use. Now we get Captain Hook, who is a Emerald Steel, 5 inkable, 4/5/2 with a shift of 3. Once during your turn, whenever an opposing character is damaged, your pirate characters get +2 power, strength, and gain resist 2 this turn. So the downside is, once during your turn, whenever an opposing character is damaged, so I have to do something to damage your characters. Now my pirate characters go up in strength. So I'd have to kind of set this up to either use a song to do damage or crash a little character or whatever into something. I mean, I could use Hook. He could finish off one of your characters. Now, one of my other pirates is now a +2 with resist 2 to finish off something maybe even bigger. It could be useful. Pirates might see this. Maybe. This is one of the better cards, I think, in the whole set. Emerald Steel Maui, 6 inkable, 4/4, quest for 3. His ability, when this character is banished, choose one. There's 3 different abilities. put 2 damage counters on all opposing characters, which again will get around resist. Or I can banish all opposing items, or I can banish all opposing locations. So the moment this Maui touches the ground, right, he's drying. I know, looking across the table, he's about to quest for 3, more than likely, right? He might crash into something, but I mean, there's the danger of him questing for 3 is nuts. I have to get rid of him. I get rid of him immediately. I delete him. I play Lady Tremaine. I play Be Prepared. I play whatever. Now he's getting to pick 3 other things to do back to me. So he's a big character. At 4/4 gives him a decent health pool. He's not easy to remove from, challenging, but he's going to still get to do these 3 abilities. So he's a character that the moment he touches the table, he's still going to get to do one of 3 things, no matter what else. Like if I delete him immediately, he's going to still do this. This is a good card. This one, I don't know. I think the best thing of this is that it is an Emerald Steel specific. It's not Emerald only or Steel only. If he was Steel only, dude, this would be one of the grossest cards in the entire game. The fact they shoved him into Emerald Steel, at least he'll see table use, but it won't be so crazy because he's away from anything to do with Sapphire. All right, Honey Lemon, Emerald Sapphire. 4 inkable, 3/3/2. Whenever you play a Floodborn character, if you use Shift to play them, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. So if I shift her, or if I have to shift somebody else, because she can't shift, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. It's okay. It's not gross, but it's all right. Jock, he is a 4 inkable, 3/4/1. When you play this character, if you have 3 or more other characters in play, gain 2 lore. He will probably see some use in Churner Dogs because, again, he's just a card. I just drop him on the table. Oh, I found some lore for free. I think he's going to see use. We got Archimedes, 3 inkable, 2/2/2. When you play this character, you may banish chosen item. During your turn, whenever an item is banished, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. So the moment I play him, I get to banish an item. And then during my turn, whenever an item is banished, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. So I drop him out of my hand, I banish something of yours, right? And now I'm immediately getting to draw a card and filter through my deck for something else that I'm looking for. This is a pretty good card. It's kind of interesting that they gave us 2 decent Emerald item removal cards in this same set. But, I mean, both him and Fred are good. Now we got Emerald Action. He who steals and runs away. 3 inkable. Banish chosen item. Draw a card. Hilarious. Somebody really wants to see Emerald get played a lot more. Now we got a song. Stopped chaos in its tracks. It's an 8 inkable. Sing together. Return up to 2 characters with 3 power or less, each to their player's hands. It's funny enough that they have the muses in the artwork, because if you had 2 muses and they were to sing this, they'd pick up 2 characters with 3 power or less, bounce those to the hand, and then they would get to do another one that's a 2. So you could lift 3 characters off the table. It's kind of funny. It's not a bad card at all. Now we got Wrong Lever. So before we had Pull the Lever, now we got Wrong Lever. Emerald only, 3 inkable. You get to choose 1. Return chosen character to their player's hands, or put a card named Pull the Lever from your discard. Put a card named Pull the Lever from your discard on the bottom of your deck to put chosen character on the bottom of their player's deck. So I'd have to, effectively remove Pull the Lever from my discard for the rest of the game, put it to the bottom of the deck, but I get to pick a chosen character, something of yours, and put that to the bottom of the deck as well. It's pretty good, but you do have to set it up. So it works better like in the Yzma situation. So I don't really think this is going to see a crazy amount of use. But, I mean, even still, just return chosen character to their player's hand. It's a 3-cost action. I can bounce something like that. It's not a song. Maybe it'll see use. We'll kind of see what some people cook up later. Now we got an Emerald Ruby action. Undermine, 2 inkable. Chosen opponent chooses and discards a card. Chosen character gets +2 strength this turn. So I play it. I choose you. You have to discard a card. You get to pick, but you get to discard a card. So it's very similar to like Sudden Chill, except it's not a song. And then I get to pick one of my characters, and now they get an extra 2 strength. That's pretty good. Walk the Plank. It is Emerald Steel, 3 uninkable. Your pirate characters gain an ability. Exert them to banish chosen damage character this turn. So I just exert them, deletes one of your damage characters. Probably won't see a ton of use. Pirates are always kind of on the periphery of being like dangerous. Maybe someone will be able to build something that's pretty gross. I don't see this seeing a ton of use because it's not a song also. We'll see. Chem Purse. This is an emerald item, 2 inkable. Whenever you play a character, if you use shift to play them, they get +4 strength this turn. Probably not going to see a lot. Jeweled Collar, Emerald Sapphire, 2 inkable. Whenever one of your characters is challenged, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. Whenever one of your characters is challenged, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. I think this one might see some use because I get to just, you attacked me, right? I'm immediately taking the top card of my deck. It goes into my inkwell. So I get to ramp now on your turn. Oh no. All right, continuing onward, and hopefully you can't hear my wife doing dishes in the background. Gloyd Orange Boar. He is a Ruby character, 3 inkable, 1/2/1. When you play this character, each opponent loses 1 lore and you gain 1 lore. That might be pretty decent for the racers. I don't really see this getting a lot of use just in Ruby in general because he still costs 3. Yeah, they go down a lore. Yeah, I go up 1 lore. I just don't really, I think there's better ways to achieve lore with like Goat and stuff in Amethyst Ruby, but maybe, probably not. But in Racers, could be gross. Now we got Honest John, 6 inkable, 7/5/2. Has no other abilities, but that is a pretty big health pool. Probably not going to see him though, but maybe. Probably not. Gyro Gear Loose, a Ruby Sapphire character that is 3 inkable, 1/3/1 with evasive. His ability, when you play this character, chosen opposing character gets -3 strength this turn. Probably not going to see him. Vanellope von Schweetz. She is Ruby, 2 inkable, 3/1/1 with evasive. So this is Pegasus that you're seeing a lot more use of in the Ruby Amethyst decks. So she has the same stats otherwise, and she's just, gets to have the ability of being a princess and a racer if that matters for whatever other things you're doing in your deck. You could use her in place of Pegasus. If you don't have that in Ruby Amethyst, she'd be the same thing. Brutus, Ruby character, 4 inkable, 4/3/1. During your turn, when this character is banished, if one of your characters was damaged this turn, gain 1 lore. So I do something right. On my turn, I use him, crash into one of your characters, get him banished. If one of your characters was damaged this turn, gain 2 lore. So as I read that, I crash into something of yours, defeat it, I'm going to destroy your character, and I'm going to gain 2 lore. This is pretty good. This is good. I don't know where this fits in my Ruby Amethyst deck, but I mean, it's possible I could see him getting used. The Dodo, Ruby only, 3 inkable, 0/6/1. This character gets +1 strength for each 1 damage on him. Probably not going to see it. Alice, 4 inkable, 2/4/2. When you play this character, you may ready chosen damage character of yours. They can't quest for the rest of this turn, but they could still challenge. They could still sing, right? You probably won't. It's decent art, though. Lumiere is a Ruby, 2 inkable, 1/1/2. While you have an item card in your discard, this character gains evasive. I don't know if you would see a lot of use of this. You won't see it in like Ruby Amethyst. You might see it in Ruby Sapphire items. I don't know what he would replace that would make it worth it, but I mean, there's lots of ways that items will end up in the discard. He'll have evasive. He works really well in conjunction with Belle from set 7, where she just, removes an item. She discards it in order to get played for free. So maybe there'll be some sort of Ruby Sapphire Belle deck, which was around for a little bit and then kind of didn't. An enhanced version of the starter deck. Maybe this might actually see some use in that. All right, Gaston, 4 inkable, 4/4/1. When you play this character, you may banish one of your items to give chosen character +2 strength this turn. So when you play him, I can choose to get rid of one of my items to give one of my characters a little bit of a buff. +2 isn't super great for me trading out an item, but in Ruby Sapphire, I can be rewarded by playing Tamatoas or like the Belle I was just talking about to get reward for items being, in the discard. Whether that's recycling them so I can replay them or putting them into the deck to gain lore. So maybe, but I think this would be a better one in the Belle deck than it would in the regular Ruby Sapphire for sure. Now we got Mushu, 3 inkable, 2/3/1. His ability, you exert Mushu, chosen character gains rush this turn. That could be a really cool setup, especially for the Ruby Steel players who had Mushu last time, who was a dual color. You kind of, I get to play any character I want. I exert Mushu, and now that character has Rush, which then if I have the other Mushu out, I'm also going to get Resist. I'm going to get Lore for defeating the character. I'm just all around rewarded. It takes a little bit of time to set up, but it is all around a reward system. So you might, I think that the more likelihood is you would see this in Ruby Steel because they get bonuses for it. All right, Cricky, 4 inkable, 4/3/1. While you have 2 or more other exerted characters in play, this character gets +2 lore. So, I have to have the other 2 characters. I do whatever I want with them. Now, all of a sudden, Cricky's going to be questing for 3. That's not bad. Lafayette, he is a 5 inkable, 7/4/1. Vanilla, otherwise. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, he would work really well with the Mushu, being able to play Lafayette. He's a 7 strength, right, on 5, and then I use Mushu, and now I make him into a 7 rush bomb. That could be cool. Figaro, Ruby, 3 inkable, 3/3/1. Opposing items, enter play exerted. This is kind of crazy, because it only affects opposing items. They enter exerted, so then they can't be used. It kind of interferes also with the Scrooge McDuck because the items are already there. They can't play it and then choose to exert it to get Scrooge for free. If he was cheaper with this ability, I think it would be better. Him being a 3 cost, I don't see it getting a lot of use. Maybe occasionally. And when he does, though, it's going to be crazy because you won't be expecting it. Thumper, 2 inkable, 0/3/1. His ability, you exert Thumper. Chosen character gets +3 strength this turn. He's over here getting somebody else hyped up to do big stuff, but he doesn't do it himself, so Wreck-It Ralph, 3 inkable, 4/2/1. When you play this character, chosen racer character gets +4 strength this turn. In racer decks, like I admitted, I don't really have a lot of experience with other than playing against it. I don't really know if he fits, but I mean, he makes one of those other racer characters like super crazy strong. All right, the first legendary for Ruby, Tinkerbell. She's a 2 inkable, 1/1/1 with evasive. Whenever you play a character with 5 strength or more, you may exert them to gain 2 lore. I don't know. I don't know how this would work in Ruby Amethyst. But being able to set her up, she's a 2 inkable, right? She does have evasive, so I could play her on turn 2 to just have an evasive body that I can bounce with other things that I need. I can play her late game, but I think she would be better in some sort of Ruby Sapphire deck where they're playing Maleficent Dragons and Half Sharks and other things where I can just put them on the table. They do their whatever ability when played, and then I can just just exert them immediately, gain 2 lore. I mean, I think actually in Half Shark deck, this could be kind of fun because like Half Shark doesn't have Rush anyway, unless you have Fortisphere or Peter Pan, which so him being able to just enter play as an evasive, he's exerted. I'm going to immediately gain 2 lore. I could still then play actions, right? If I have the ink to do it, and just getting additional lore or singing and stuff to get additional lore. She might see some use. This might be a pretty good card. Lilo, 5 inkable, 4/4/2. She has 2 abilities. First being during your turn, if you played 3 or more actions this turn, you may play this character for free. So she will do really good in the Ruby Emerald Robin Hood decks. I would think she'd have a good chance there. Her other ability, when you play this character, ready chosen character, they can't quest for the rest of this turn. The upside being, I guess actually she'd be decent in a Half Shark deck, because if I play 3 or more actions, which isn't crazy to do in a Sapphire Ruby deck, a Ruby Sapphire deck, then I can play her for free. When I play her, I can ready something, so I could use Half Shark, swing at something, get me an action back, play the action, sing or play other 2 actions, then I can play her for free. I re-ready Half Shark, he sings Pirate's Life, and I'm just like, explosion of lore. Wow. She might be useful in a good way. I have to think about that. All right, Ruby Sapphire LeFou, 2 inkable, 2/2/1. You can exert him to banish one of your items. Chosen opponent loses 1 lore, and you gain 1 lore. So this isn't spectacular, but if he's put into the Bell deck, which, I mean, it's even thematic, having LeFou in there and the Gaston and Lumiere, they all kind of go together into that Ruby Sapphire Bell deck, and they're going to do some crazy stuff. So this might be good in that. Next up is Lumiere. He's a Ruby Sapphire 5 inkable 4/3/2. Now, there's a little bit of a discrepancy to put into the note here. The card had been shown before with it being shift 3, evasive, and having ward. I'm showing the one because it was taken down from the Lorcana app as only the one that has evasive. He also has the ability, whenever one of your items is banished, this character gains 1 lore this turn, right? 1 questing. So if you set him up with the smaller 2-drop Lumiere, you're playing your Sapphire Ruby Bell deck, you could see some uses from him, but we would... I don't think it's super strong, but I don't know. I haven't played that deck either. Didn't really fit my play style, so I just didn't. But, it could be good. The Coachman, Ruby Steel, 2 inkable, 2/2/1. While 2 or more of your characters are exerted, this character gains +2 strength and gains evasive. Again, this works really good in the Ruby Steel decks because now I can go chase down something of yours with evasive. If I have Mushu, I'm going to get rewarded all over the place. That's pretty good for them. Ruby Steel Mulan with 4 uninkable, 3/3. She does not quest because she has Reckless. She has 2 other abilities. During your turn, this character gains evasive, and this character can challenge ready characters. So obviously this works really good with the Ruby Steel Mushu. They've got some pretty good stuff to be pretty dangerous. We got a new Ruby Steel Mushu, 6 inkable, 4/6/2, shifts for 4. Whenever you play another character, they gain Rush, Reckless, and Evasive this turn. That is crazy. Now, the downside is if you were to shift him onto, the previous sets Mushu, you would lose all like the resist and the gain 2 lore for defeating characters. But you'd make all of your people have Rush, Reckless, and Evasive this turn, so like they can just rush anything evasive. That's pretty good. And you got Mr. Snoops, who's only Ruby, 3 inkable, 3/3/1. During your turn, when this character is banished, you may draw a card. So you're going to have to crash him into something or use Teeth Inhibitions, get rid of him. I mean, even it could also be prepared. I don't think he's going to see a lot of use. Friend Owl, 2 inkable, 2/2/2. Nothing else. Probably not going to see a lot of use. Faline, she is Ruby, 4 uninkable, 2/4/1, has evasive, and while you have a character in play with more strength than each opposing character, this character gets +2 lore. So she is able, like if you have Maui out there, he's the biggest guy on the table, she is now going to be a 3. Prince John, 3 uninkable, 5/5/1. Whenever an opponent plays a character, deal 1 damage to this character. That's a little nutty. I immediately do 1 damage to to this character. Yeah, that plays into the Frady Cat. So you play a character, my Prince John immediately takes 1 damage. But the trade-off being he's a 3-drop that has a 5/5 stats. And it's likely that you're not going to be able to play 5 characters prior to me using him to crash into something and trade really big. So it's not a super wonderful card, but it is a playable card. And somebody might be able to figure out a good use of him. All right, now we got a Ruby action song. Nothing We Won't Do. 8 inkable, sing together 8. Ready all your characters. For the rest of the turn, they take no damage from challenges. And they can't quest. Oh my gosh. If they were to play this in a Mushu deck, that would be awful for me. They'd be attacking me. That's crazy. Now we got Ruby Sapphire action. Get out. 6 uninkable. Banish chosen character. Then return an item card from your discard to your hand. This right here might have been why Hiram was banned. So I get to play... It costs 6. It's not a song, right? But it's basically Dragonfire. I just play it. I choose one of your characters. Boom. They're gone. But I get to also return an item to my hand from my discard. Woo! Woo! This is going to see some use. And it's an action, so it goes right in with a Half Dark. Light the Fuse, Ruby Steel action. 1 uninkable, deal 1 damage to chosen character for each exerted character you have in play. It's not wonderful, but it is useful. It's Ruby Steel, so thankfully it's kind of just relegated over to that corner of things, but we'll see. Twitter Pated. It's an action, 1 inkable. Chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. Could see use. Most everyone's mad here. 7 uninkable. Gain lore equal to the damage on chosen character, then banish them. Oh my gosh. So it doesn't even matter if it's one of my characters. I could pick one of your characters. You know, they're over there with 5 damage. I play this. I get the 5 lore because they're hurt, and then I delete them. Wow. Wow. That's a good card. 7 on inkable makes it balanced, because if it was less than that and inkable, the Sword of Shan Yu, 1 inkable item. I have to exert the item, and I have to exert one of my characters to ready chosen character. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. The Mouse Queen for Sapphire. Now we're into Sapphire. 4 inkable, 3/6/1 vanilla. Sir Pelennor, 3 inkable, 1/4/1. Whenever this character quests or other characters gain support this turn. Nah. Anita Radcliffe, 3 inkable, 3/3/1. When you play this character, you may give chosen puppy character resist 1 until the start of your next turn. That's okay. I don't think it's broken or crazy, but it's all right. Olaf, 1 inkable, 2/1/1. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gets -1 power this turn. You won't really want to play him on turn 1. He's really for later in the game. I don't really know which decks he'd be the best at. I don't really think it would be with Sapphire, or like Ruby Sapphire. Maybe in Blurple for some reason. I don't really so much think in Sapphire Steel, kind of mid-range, but maybe. Anna, 3 inkable, 2/2/2. When you play this character, if you have a character named Elsa in play, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. We've already discussed Anna and Elsa work really well in Blurple. They've already got cohesion there and characters that go back and forth and work together in unison. It'll work over there. It won't really work with anything else. Wasabi, 5 inkable, 3/5/2 with support. It's okay. Go Tamago, 2 inkable, 1/3/1. When you play a Floodborn character on this card, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. So I could use her in a Emerald Sapphire deck. I could play Baymax, or I could play Go. So whenever I shift on top of this, I'm going to get ramp at the same time. This may see use, even without the larger Go, might see use in a Sapphire Emerald deck because they do run Baymax. So for me being able to put her out there, have a decent target, right, to shift Baymax on, and I get to ramp, the only thing that's kind of keeping her like really in like a good balance is that she costs 2 and not 1. Because if she was a 1, they'd play her on 1, 2, they would ramp, 3, they would shift, boom, they immediately get an extra ink. But what's cool about her is that even if I were to miss my ramping on turn 2, I could have her set up. So effectively, by the time I am able to shift in either the larger Go or Baymax, I still get to ramp. So I could play her on 2 and not feel too bad if I can find Baymax to shift onto her to kind of catch back up in the ramping that I wanted to do. Now we got the Wardrobe, 4 inkable, 3/4, quest for 1. I can exert the Wardrobe to choose and discard an item and draw 2 cards. So she is a slower hero. She even costs 4 and she's inkable. Her stat line is better in terms of getting rid of her, but I don't get to her ability when I play her. I have to exert her on the next turn, choose and discard an item. So she has the Hiram ability, but it takes a second. And she doesn't quest. I have to exert her, so I'm not getting that extra lore. She is a more balanced Hiram. Now we have Mrs. Potts, 3 inkable, 2/4/1. I exert Mrs. Potts, banish one of my items, draw a card. So in comparison between the two, similar stats. One costs more than the other. The difference being I exert and then banish an item and draw a card. I don't know why it's choose and discard. Oh, okay. All right, I misspoke. The difference being the Wardrobe, I'm discarding an item from my hand. With Mrs. Potts, I'm using her ability to banish an item that's on the table, and it's one of my items. So she is more of the Hiram. That's a little bit on the lower side of things. The wardrobe is different because I'm discarding from my hand to then draw the 2 cards. Okay. So the wardrobe actually could see some use in a moderate sense. I don't think Mrs. Potts will really, because you're really wanting to ramp earlier. I guess the difference is I could drop one of them and then be able to. I wish one of these, in the sense of playing Ruby Sapphire as an item, Ruby Sapphire items, I wish one of these quested for 2 just to give it a little bit more oomph, a little bit more danger for my opponent to have to deal with it. I don't know. Jasmine, 1 inkable, 1/2/1. When you play this character, you may give another chosen character resist 1 until the start of your next turn. It could see it being used in like a Sapphire Steel deck. Little Sister, 1 inkable, 1/2/1. When you play this character, you may remove up to 1 damage from chosen character. So I just drop it from my hand, immediately heal something. Okay. Adelaide Bonfamille, 2 inkable, 2/3/1 vanilla. It's okay. Nani, 4 inkable, 3/3/1. I can exert Nani. Another chosen character gains resist 2 this turn. Or your character's name Lilo gains support. Probably not really going to see a lot of use of this character, but it's there. Stitch, 3 uninkable, 3/3/2. He has 2 abilities. This is, I think, the first legendary we've seen for Sapphire. When you play this character, each opponent puts the top card of their deck into their inkwell face down and exerted. So I play him. All of my opponents, not me, because it's not all players, it's only my opponents. So I play Stitch. Everybody else gets to play the top card from their deck, put it into their ink. Not play, but they place it into their ink. At the start of your turn, if this card is in your discard, you may choose and discard a card with being inkable to play this character for free, and he enters play exerted. I don't think that this is a good card. The reason being because when I play him, each opponent puts the top card of their deck into their inkwell face down and exerted. And it kind of feels a little bit more on the mill side because he doesn't have phenomenal stats. He's not even inkable, right? He's a 3/3/2. Those are good stats, especially for a 3 cost, but I'm rewarding my opponents by playing him. I'm letting them ramp on my turn. And then I have kind of like the zombie Lilo effect where I can do something to bring him back from my discard. But every time I do that, they're getting then more ramp. But he doesn't have ward. He doesn't do crazy good damage. He doesn't quest for like 5 or something where like I'm rewarded for doing it. I think that this card initially looks cool, but doesn't work, unfortunately. Radigan, the second legendary for Sapphire, 8 inkable, 6/7, quest for 4. He has ward. At the end of your turn, if you didn't put any cards into your inkwell this turn, banish this character. I don't really think this is going to be a usable card in a lot of the sense, which is unfortunate because that means both the legendaries for Sapphire are kind of just... I just don't really think this is great. Yeah, as a Sapphire player, I'm probably going to ink something, but I have to ink. I don't have any way to cheat him to the table, so he has to sit. He's going to quest for 4. My opponent's going to really not be happy about that. I think Mufasa is just better all around. He's going to cost 8. Yeah, he's not inkable, but I get better rewards for using him, when in this case, I kind of just have like, a knife to my back. Like, if you don't do it, you're going to get it, buddy. Yeah. Arthur is a Sapphire Steel character, 4 inkable, 6/6/3. The thing with him is you skip your turn's draw step. So when it comes back around, right? He's dried. It's coming back around to being my turn. I don't get to draw a card. Ugh. I mean, it might work if you were being milled and you could have him on the table already, but like, I mean, for 4, he's a 6/6/3. Like, that's good, but you need a way to be able to continuously draw cards, and him being Sapphire Steel, right now, what are our options? Let the Storm Rage on, Whole New World, and Dock, right? I mean, there's like Beast Mirror and Beast, but those aren't seeing a lot of use right now, if any, really. So missing out on the draw step to have a bigger body just doesn't really feel worth it. Bernard, Sapphire Steel, 2 uninkable, 2/2/1. When you play this character, if you have an ally character in play, you may draw a card. He could work off of Bianca, but... 6 inkable Aladdin, Sapphire Steel 191 with Bodyguard, so he has a big health pool of 9. Woo! Whenever one of your ally characters quest, you may remove up to 2 damage from this character. It's not bad. Him costing 6 and he doesn't shift or anything is difficult to get him to the table for him to then absorb these hits, and then my allies are going to quest, and then I'm going to heal Aladdin. It's a lot of setup that doesn't feel great because he doesn't quest big or something else to really make it worth it. He can sing, 6 and less, but I don't know. It's just, if he had Ward, I think it would make him better, because at least then, because like you drop him now, I'm brawling him. I'm Medusa, right? I'm just getting rid of him, and you're not even going to get the effect. Jasmine, Sapphire Steel, 4 inkable, 251. She shifts for 2. Whenever this character quests, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal an ally card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the deck, the bottom of your deck in any order. So I think she is actually pretty good. She might see use in a Sapphire Steel kind of aggro deck, because they have some good allies that they can draw from and play. So being able to shift 2 and stuff, like there's a way to get those cards kind of moving. She might be good. Rockafort, 2 inkable, 2/2/1. Whenever this character quests, you may put chosen item into its player's inkwell face down and exerted. Whenever this character quests, you may put chosen item in the inkwell face down and exerted. It's not bad. It's funny that it's Sapphire though, because it's kind of like, all right, we're in a mirror match. I'm going to get rid of your items. It would be a lot more helpful if this was like an Emerald or Amethyst, but okay. Jumba Jukaba, 4 inkable, 162. He's not going to see the light of day. Geppetto, 5 inkable, 442. Whenever this character quests, you may choose and discard any number of item cards to gain 1 lore for each item you discarded this way. So I quest, I get the 2, I can then discard items from my hand, gaining an additional lore for each card. Geppetto will absolutely fit within the Ruby Sapphire Bell deck, because then she's going to do her thing, put the cards back into the deck, she's going to get lore, right? I don't see him being useful in any other way, but there he definitely is. I mean, I guess there's the chance you could see him in a Blue Steel items deck where they have Tamatoa to kind of bring the items back, but I got to already discard them, so I got to draw them, or, get extra lore. I just don't think it's likely, but maybe. All right, first song for Sapphire, Heads Held High, 6 inkable, sing together, remove up to 3 damage from any number of chosen characters. All opposing characters get -3 strength this turn. Meh. Pouncing Practice, 2 inkable. Chosen character gets -2 strength this turn. Chosen character of yours gains evasive this turn. Meh. Down in New Orleans, a Sapphire song, 6 uninkable. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character, item, or location card with cost 6 or less and play it for free. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Oh my freaking gosh. This is going to be an absolutely disgusting card. Absolutely bananas. Because, so I sing this card, right? Or I just pay the 6. I get to look at the top 3 cards of my deck. I'm looking for a location. Probably, I would see this probably being used in the Ruby Sapphire Half-Dark deck. I'm going to get a lore for playing this, even if he sings it. I'm then going to be looking for something. I could even pick McDuck Manor, play that immediately for free, right? And then, like, I got the lore, I got to do all this, and now I've got a McDuck Manor for free, or a Tamatoa for free, who's then going to return an item to 2 items to my hand, right? Like, this is a crazy, crazy card. Thankfully, it's uninkable. For the sake of all other colors, this is a phenomenal. This might be in the top 2 or 3 cards in this whole set, and we haven't gotten through everything yet. But I mean, this is a nuts card. Television set. It's a Sapphire item that is 3 inkable. You exert the television set. You pay 1. Look at the top card of your deck. If it's a puppy character card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. Otherwise, put it on the bottom of your deck. So it helps us filter really quickly to find more puppies. Belle's Favorite Book. It's a Sapphire item, 3 cost uninkable. You exert the Belle's Favorite Book, banish one of your other items, so not the book, but something else. Put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. I could see this going into that, the Ruby Sapphire Belle deck. I don't think this is a great card, though, for that. There's better things to do. The Atlantean Crystal, 2 inkable. I exert the item, I pay 2, then I get to chosen character gains resist 2 and support until the start of your next turn. Ati Taya, 7 inkable steel character. We're on a steel now. 7/7/3. It's a phenomenal stats. I don't think she's going to see any use. Bobby, 3 inkable, 4/2/1. So it's a pigeon with a bodyguard. A DeGrosse. Magic Carpet, 3 inkable, 2/4/2. He's an illusion, so he has Vanish. Spectral Force, your other illusion characters gain Challenger 1. Wow, that's actually pretty good in an illusion deck. Huh. Yeah, I can see that. Prince Ahmed, 2 inkable, 2/2/1. When you play this character, you may exert chosen princess character. You're not going to see use. A Dump Truck, he's a 1 on inkable, 0/1/1. When you play this character, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. Probably not, but okay. It would be better if he quested for 2, so like you get to do his ability, because after that, he's doing no damage. And he's going to be deleted immediately by anything they've got because he takes 1. It would be nice that he quested high or he had evasive or something else just to make it useful, because right now, this is a dead on arrival card. Captain Hook, this is the other reprint in this set, because this is the Forceful Duelist. This is from the first chapter. He's a 1 inkable, 1/2/1 with Challenger 2. This is a great card. It's nice to get him reprinted. Yeah, I don't want him necessarily taking up a slot in set 8, but we do get to use the other Captain Hook from Emerald Steel to shift on him, so that this is a good card. General Lee, 3 inkable, 2/4/1 with Resist 1. Monterey Jack, 5 inkable, 4/5/2 with Bodyguard. It's alright. Genie, as a dragon, 3 inkable, 3/4/1. During your turn, this character gains evasive. Toby Turtle, 2 inkable, 0/4/1. While this character is exerted, he gains resist 1. He should quest higher than 1. Ariana, 5 inkable, 5/5/2. Vanilla. Not bad stats. Probably not really going to see much use. Zipper, 3 inkable, 2/4/1. If you have a character named Monterey Jack in play, which we just saw him, you pay 1 less to play this character. During your turn, this character gains evasive. If you're going for some sort of cohesion, I think they're both allies, right? Monterey Jack? Yeah, they're both allies. So there is upsides to that. Probably just not the strongest of decks right now, or like cohesion, but I mean, there are other characters coming out that buff off allies or have other abilities off allies and stuff, so maybe. Khan, 4 inkable, 2/7/1. Why? Vinny, 3 uninkable. I hate this smirk on his face, because just wait. 1/4/1. During an opponent's turn, whenever one of your other characters is banished, gain 1 lore. So if he's sitting his little dumb bird self on the table, then here I come and I drop Be Prepared. Whenever one of your other characters is banished, gain 1 lore. So if you have 4 other characters, you're going to get 4 lore. You're not going to get it from Vinny. But if you have other Vinnies, you're just going to like absorb, just this huge plume of lore is just going to come out of the ground as I play Be Prepared and lose. This is a good card. Iago, 4 inkable, 3/3/2. While you have another exerted character in play, this character can't be challenged. What a jerk. Nathaniel Flint, 2 inkable, 3/3/2. This is really cool artwork. Really, really cool. When you can't play this, or sorry, you can't play this character unless an opposing character was damaged this turn. It's kind of okay because he's a 2 cost that is a 3/3/2. So like he has, but at the same time too, he has the stats of Smee, but I can't play him unless an opposing character was damaged this turn. So he's not good. Like I'd have to go second for him to be useful, right? Because if I'm planning to try to play him on turn 2, I feel that if he had that as a negative, where he should be at 4/3, or he should have an additional ability. Yeah, that might make him kind of crazy, but the setup is harder, right? So he's not a great turn 3 card because I probably have something else I'd rather do on that curve of 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I have to go, I really need him to go, I need to go second. I need to have him in my hand. I need to be able to damage something with my 1-drop character, then play him. So if they have no characters on 1, I can't even play him on 2. If they don't exert their characters, I can't even damage it to then play him. So then I have to play like Fire the Cannons or something. Well, then on turn 2, I can't even play him because I don't have the ink. So it's one of those cards where like, this is cool, but how in the world do I play it? Because I was hoping he'd be a really strong turn 2 card, but he's just not. So, but the artwork is really neat. Vincenzo Santorini, 7 inkable, 2/8/3. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name, and I'm sorry. When you play this character, you may deal 3 damage to chosen character. So he's basically a smash from set 1, built into, like, I play him on the table, 3 damage to you. Downside is, before rotation, with him being only a 2 strength, it's easy to remove him with things, like from Ruby. So he's very expensive. I don't shift him. I have no way to cheat him in easily. It's kind of a lot of investment. So it's a cool card. I just don't think he's actually going to see use, which is unfortunate. All right, Namari. Have we not had enough of her as a legendary? She's steel, 5 inkable, 0/5/2. When you play this character, and at the start of your turn, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. So I play her, and at the start of my turn. So forever, she's going to be a filter, right, to help me look for what I want. This character gets +1 strength for each card in your discard. This might be useful, boys and girls. Oh. Huh. And with steel, it's really easy to dump your hand with Whole New World and stuff, where she could be a 37 strength. Wow. I take it back. I'm not going to make one of this card. I like this. Mickey Mouse, I believe this is our last legendary in the set. He is a 10 uninkable. 10, 10, 5 with bodyguard. And to top it off, this giant monstrosity has, when this character is banished, deal 5 damage to each opposing character. So obviously be prepared, just deletes everything, that won't change anything. But if they do anything else to mess with him, if he is banished, right? So let it go doesn't count because he's put into inkwell, not banished. So anything else that banishes him, he's just a bomb. He's going to do 5 damage to each opposing character. That is crazy. And that can even happen if you were to crash him into something else, finish him off, and then just blow up everything else on their side of the table. That is nuts. This is cool. And you know what's neat is you could team him up or cheat him in with the Mickey from this past set, where when he is, if he defeats a character in a challenge, you get to play any character you want for free. So you'd be able to pull you could do that on turn 3 because he's a 2 cost. You play him on 2. Turn 3, he defeats something, and you drop this big boy. Your opponent's just going to shake your hand and be like, all right, GG, because you quest for 5. And by the time I can finally deal with this guy, you've either already hit 20 or you're going to explode and blow up everything on my side. This is a cool card. But it's not so broken because you have to do things to get him out, or he costs 10. But this is fun. I like this one a lot. This right here, this Stitch, he's steel, 4 inkable, 3/4/1. Hands down my favorite art in this entire set. I hope he becomes a playmat. This is a really cool artwork. That the artist did a phenomenal job with this. Looks like there's 2 artists maybe. This is an awesome card. My favorite artwork probably in a long time. And I'm not even the biggest Stitch fan. There's lots of Disney characters that I like. Stitch is cool, but like this is really cool art. His ability is during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may draw a card and gain 1 lore. That's not bad. It's not broken, it's not crazy, but this is a usable card. I like this. So you get nice art and a nice card. All right, action. We're down to the last few cards. Desperate Plan, 3 uninkable. If you have no cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 in your hand. Otherwise, choose and discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. So this only helps you, right? It doesn't force your opponent to do anything. But I am able to play this when I only have 1, and I get 3 cards, right? So it's a better dock. I don't get a body on table, but it only costs 3. Both are uninkable, so that doesn't really change that. Otherwise, choose and discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. So if I have cards I don't really want, I can throw all those ones away if I have more than 3 or more. Or sorry, if it says if you have no cards, draw until you have 3. So I have to have more than one, right? If I have one card, I could discard any number and then draw. I think this card will replace Doc overall because Doc really isn't that great, other than the fact he costs 2 and I get 2 cards to replace him. But this one would allow me to, because one of the things that stinks about Doc, it seems that a lot of times when I'm playing against people, they'll have an extra Doc in their hand, right? And it doesn't feel good to play one Doc, don't do his ability, play another Doc, draw 2 cards, but now I don't probably have enough ink to really do anything else that I just drew. So they sometimes just discard that extra Doc to play that Doc, you know, and maybe something else that wasn't uninkable. So with this one, I could end up having extra desperate plans in my hand, and I could throw those away and still draw other things rather than just throwing it away. That's kind of nice. I don't know if you would see this as being a 4 of because it's uninkable, but the fact that this exists at all, I think you're going to see maybe Amethyst Steel players replacing Docs with this. I think you could see, it's not a song, so Steel Song might not take it because they still, Whole New World is just better. But like in my Steel Song deck, I was running 3 Whole New Worlds in 1 Doc so that I had kind of like a way to get card draw. I didn't want to have too much to discard my hand and stuff. So I put 1 Doc in. I think I would replace Doc right now with Desperate Plan because I get to draw more. Or I get to discard and then replace those cards. So I like this. This is a solid card. Beyond the Horizon, 7 uninkable, sing together 7. Choose any number of players, so you could choose yourself. They discard their hands and draw 3 cards each. So it is not as dangerous as Whole New World, right? But I could not pick them too. So my opponent may have no cards, and I can say, I don't pick you, I'm picking myself, I'm going to sing with my characters, I'm going to draw 3 cards. Sucks to suck. This is a fun card. I want to get foils of this, as well as the Stitch, as well as Desperate Plan and a couple others. This is a fun card. I think this is a good one. Steel Action, 2 uninkable. Action, deal 1 damage to chosen character, draw a card. That's not awful. It's not phenomenal, because if it was like do 2 damage and draw a card, like maybe if it costs 3, that would be a better card. But maybe you could see this seeing some use. Probably more likely in Sapphire Steel. All right, and the last card of the set that we are discussing in this video is Hamster Ball. It is an item, 3 uninkable. You exert Hamster Ball. It is cost 1 also. Chosen character with no damage gains resist 2 until the start of your next turn. So that is everything, boys and girls. That is all of it. This is a long video. But it was cool. It was really neat to be able to go through this with all of you, to be able to look at all these cards. There are a number of them that I am excited about, that I am looking forward to trying to fit into some new decks and try to see, like, you know, what is the new meta going to kind of look like. Yeah, there's some fun stuff here. Very fun. So what are you guys thinking? Like, what is your favorite card so far? Maybe top 3 that you've seen in this set. Comment below. Yeah, this is really cool. And I'm hoping to do these kind of videos in the future with every other new set that comes out for, you know, kind of just wait and see how people receive it. But thank you guys very much for watching. This is a fun set. I'm looking forward to getting it. It's unfortunate that currently with the rotation schedule, it'll only be around for 15 months before rotation, which I hope Ravensburger changes. But outside of that, I'm excited about it. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See ya.